Good day everyone, I trust we are doing well. Today we are going to be looking at the JavaScript Web Animations API, and we are going to be building an app where we can toggle between daytime and nighttime. So this is what the finished application looks like, and without any further ado, let's begin.
So I already created the markup for the project and I already styled it, since that's not our focus for this lesson. So I'll just get started right away. I'm going to create a script tag underneath. This should actually be in another file for best practice, but for this tutorial I'll be doing it in the HTML file so that everybody can get along real quick. So I'm going to add an ID of root to the top container. You'll know why later. Then another ID to the toggle switch container. I'll give it an ID of switch, and we want to change the icon, so we are going to add an ID of icon to this span tag. Let's give that an ID of icon, and its container we are going to give it an ID of to be animated, because that's the container we are going to be animating. We can't animate the span tag for a reason, because it won't actually move. There's a reason for that. So I'll get started by defining an helper function, which is going to help us select the necessary elements. So we are going to do jQuery style function, $sign, then selector. Though let's use ID, since we are using ID. And it's going to return the DOM element. We're going to use document.get elements by ID. Then we return the ID. Oops, sorry. So let's first get all the necessary elements. We are going to get the root. See, that's way easier than repeating document dot, and we're going to get the icon. Then I'm going to get the element that's going to be animated and and the switch. And the editor is going to complain actually, so we are going to change that to switch button, because switch is a JavaScript keyword and we should avoid mixing things up. We are going to add an event listener to the switch button. We are going to add an update view function, which is what we are going to be calling. Let's define that real quick. And I've already added an is on state, which is already set to false. I did that when my screen recorder went off. Sorry. So on the update view, we are going to set this on to the opposite. It's way faster than seeing whether this is true then false or stuff like that, or using ternaries or conditions. And we are going to call a compute function, which is going to be the one that is actually going to be updating the state and doing all the necessary work for us.
To add an if else block to check whether it's on is true or not. Then we are going to get hold of the switch button and toggle its class. We are going to remove the toggle switch off class. It's on, and we are going to add the toggle switch on class. We are going to also toggle the style background color of the root elements. We are going to use a dark light color like gray, and we are going to remove the sun icon, and we are going to add the moon icon. We are using bootstrap icons, by the way. We are going to copy that, since it's the same implementation for both if and else, only that we do the opposite in the else block. Yeah, toggle switch on, toggle switch off, and we are going to be using a cream color. I'm going to change that to moon and the other to sun. So our app is working correctly. So let's call the update view function. That's why the icon wasn't showing, and we are going to add a link to the bootstrap icons. So it's in the same folder as my working directory. Yeah, you can get the bootstrap icons from the bootstrap site. And why is the icon small? That's because why? Oh, we added the icon to the wrong element, so we are supposed to add it to the icon element. Yeah, icon and icon. Yeah, I think that's it. Everything should work well. Everything should work perfectly now. Yeah, and we are going to change the background, the color for the icon to a light color, and we are going to do that in the else block as well. We are going to use CC and #122. And we are going to call compute instead. Okay, seems like we made a mistake with the background color. So yeah, it's supposed to be color and not background color. So everything works perfectly now. The animate function. Let's define an animate function. Yeah, so we are going to define animate right there. Function animate.
I already have the objects, so I'm going to copy and paste that. Then I'll format it real quick. Yeah, so let me explain what this is about. So we are moving from opacity 0, that it won't display at all. Then we are going to move from down 1000 pixels. Then we'll move up a 20. Then move up a 20 pixel, change the opacity to 1. Then we'll go back to the original position. And the duration is going to be a second, and the easing is easing out, so it moves in slowly then fast later, then fill is forwards. The fill forwards means that you should use the last style, which means original position with opacity 1. So that's the sun moon set object. You can choose not to do it like this, but I decided to group it in an object so that the code will look cleaner. So to animate, we are going to call the animate function on the elements. We remember that the elements variable is the one with the ID to be animated. So we are going to call the animate method on it. This animate method can be used to animate any element. And the first argument takes in a keyframe. Keyframes an array of styles objects. Then the second one takes in the option. That's where the fill, duration, and easing is. Then after we update the view, when we call after compute, we want to call animate. No, don't let us call animate there, so that we can have the animation when the app starts. So we are going to call animate in the compute function. Yeah, let's call it in the compute function there. So we can have the animation on startup. So after the if else block, we call the animate function. Yeah, so let's try that out. And yep, it works. Yeah, exactly, just like the former app. Mhm. Mm. Yeah, so I want to explain something about this forwards. If you are using, let's change it to backwards. Backwards means that use the first style object in the keyframe, and we are going to add a style opacity 0 to show you that it really works. Yeah, so you see that it disappears immediately and it's not staying. Yeah, let's change that back to forwards and still leave the opacity 0 on the elements, and you try that out again. You see it's using the last style object in the keyframe. See the opacity is there. Yeah, so we are going to define a button that will allow us to play the animation and pause the animation. We are going to clear the type since we are not using the form, and we are going to give it an ID of play pause. I don't know why I keep doing that. Yeah, I'm going to use this span tag. We are going to give it a bootstrap icon class and play circle. We are going to give it a white color with 2 extra large for the size. Then on the button class, let's give it a padding. I'm going to give it PLY2, that's top and bottom 2 no, let's give it height so that we can make it a circle. So we are going to give it an H4 and W4, then rounded full. Yes, with a BG background color of blue. Yeah, let's give it a margin at the top so that it will be a little bit far away from the icon. So let's give it a empty 6 mini margin top 6, that's a tailwind class. And since it's in a flex, we are going to align self center to move it to the center and justify center, so it will be at the exact position but at the middle. And yeah, let's change the height and the width is too small, so we are going to give that 12 12, and yes, that's our button. Now let's add the functionality for the button. We have to get hold of the button. Yeah, we are going to get hold of the button of the class play pause, sorry, id play pause. Then let's name it control. The web animations API can do a lot of things. Can pause, play, reverse, you can set play state. It actually gives you a fine-grained control and you can use it to do a lot. And most times I use it with the intersection observer. That's another thing entirely, to animate elements when they get to the viewports. Yeah, I added the functionality to my UI library, which makes it very, very powerful. Yeah, so we are going to assign the animation to a variable so that we can use it with the play pause button, because we can't access it if it's a closure. We can't access it because if it's a closure, it's already private to the animate function. So we are going to hoist it or something like that. Yeah, so first you are going to be checking if the animation is there. It's always going to be there because of the way we did it. That's because we've already called the animation function when the app starts up. So it's going to be there, but for extra check, we still have to call. So if there's an animation, we want to call the pause function. Do we actually want to do that? Yeah, first let's set pause to true. Yeah, that way so that we can toggle the state, play, pause, and all. Let's set pause to let's set that to true. Yeah, speaking about web animations and my UI library Breeze.js, Yeah, I deliberately created an interface for the animation so that we can animate stuffs quickly instead of using libraries like HEOS or so. Yeah, we check if pause is set to true. Then if pause is set to true, we if the animation is if pause is true, then we want to play it so it to be animation dot play. Remember, we've already set the animation variable, so we've set the animation variable from the elements. We've added it to the global scope so we can access it using animation dot play. Then in the else function, we do the opposite. Yeah, we pause. Yeah, and let's toggle the state to the opposite. So if it's true, it gets changed to false. If it's false, it gets changed to true. And since we are not using the line, let's add curly braces. Seems like we are missing a curly brace, I guess. Yes, we are definitely missing one. Let's add that. Yeah. Yeah, so let's check this stuff out. I guess it's worked. Yeah, it's working. You can't really notice it because of the animation is too fast. I think it's paused. Okay, let's change this stuff. We are going to change it to animate up 600 pixels and no, to animate down 600 pixels, then yeah, up 600 pixels, then down 600. So 600 up, 600, yeah, from the top, yeah, from the bottom also. It got stuck. Yep, yes, it works. See right there. Yep. Yeah, okay, we are going to change that back to the number. Yeah, so you can see that the web animations API is really cool, and if you know how to use intersection observer, you're going to be like creating mad sites. And if you know how to use it very well, it's an added advantage if you know how to use it very well. So here we checked if there's an animation, and based on whether it's paused, we play and pause and do the opposite. So there we actually set the animation object to the animation variable up there so that it's available in the global scope. Yeah, and that's all. Yeah, so a quick recap, we did the styling and all. I didn't actually show the styling, and we did our HTML, and yeah, and that's it for the JavaScript and everything. Look at how much boilerplate we used. I want to show you guys something real quick. So this is my URL.
It's the only JavaScript framework that's actually enjoyable to use.
We start by creating a data object using the create data method. Then we define our animation object, which we can also then do cool stuff like we can use the style directive, which taking the style property, and we can also take in a condition or the value directly. We can also use a class directive, which takes in the condition and the class name. Can also take in a value. If when set to true, it uses the class name. If it's false, we use our fallback. JS gives us a flexible way to write apps easily. What do we have to say about this?
I love it.
When you write your application, you're making it fast by construction. It's almost impossible to create a slow app.
There's quite a bit of usage these days, and satisfaction is still, I think, the highest or one of the highest for any of the larger or more used JavaScript frameworks.